Okay, welcome back to AirJobBossTV. I am the AirJobBoss, and today we're going to go over some general information associated with your interviewing processes. And the topic today is knowing your current operation. Whether you're a flight instructor, whether you're working for a regional airline, a charter operation, or in the military, it's important to the company you're interviewing with to know that you have studied and you understand well your current operation and you're applying the company or the organization's standard operational procedures, their company policies, in accordance with all their manuals to accomplish your job. Because that's what they will expect of you when you are hired onto their airline. So during the interview process, they will be probing and investigating whether this is true or not. So it's very important that you know your current operation. Now, some of the foundational way you can quote unquote get to know your operation is by looking at the questions you expect them to ask you, scenario-based questions, and then answering them in accordance with your current company's operation. So you really don't have to make anything up or imagine how their company addresses a certain scenario if you simply answer the question in a manner that demonstrates you know your current company's operation. For example, let's say the scenario was asked of you, you are flying a IFR flight, but in VFR weather fuel requirements, which means to destination and 45 minutes reserve. Halfway through the flight, the destination weather degrades below VMC and you're required to fly an ILS approach. What do you do? Well, the general answer is that you evaluate your fuel, you contact dispatch, you make a decision if you can get an alternate or not, or whether you've got to divert now and get more fuel or refile a flight plan, etc. But the answer you need to do is go in the books to your current operation and answer that question in a very detailed way. And you're going to answer the question by saying, well, at my current operation, how we address the problem is this. And you're going to tell them how your current policy is to address that problem. Then it's basically no wrong answer. They can say, well, that doesn't sound right. And the answer is, well, this is our company policy. If you know the company policy well, then you answer, well, this is the company policy. I'm not in 100% agreement, but my job as a professional aviator is to conduct myself according to our policies and manuals. And if I have a problem, I will state that with the company through the proper chain of command. Okay. So, but the fundamental concept is that knowing your current operation is vital in, number one, demonstrating that you will learn the new company's policies and apply them after they hire. And number two, so you can navigate those scenario-based questions based on a solid reasoning that's associated with a company and not you personally. Okay, because if you get something wrong personally, then it could be a reflection on just poor judgment. But if the company you're operating at doesn't operate in the future company, well, then it's kind of a no fault because you're really doing the job you're asked to do, which is comply. Okay, so here's another couple things you probably should know about your current operation. You really need to be able to describe your current company or organization's culture, because you're going to be asked about why you want to work at this airline you're interviewing at. And most companies want to know that you understand their company culture and you're a good fit. So you're going to have to contrast that with your current organization's culture. And in one case, they might ask you, why are you leaving your current company to come to ours? For example, one major airline for another major airline. And you could say, well, I feel that your organization has a company culture that better matches my talents, my personality, my experience, and my skill. And I would feel most proud and productive to be working in a company culture like yours rather than the one I'm working in right now. There's nothing wrong with what my current company does, but I think you guys are doing something more meaningful. Yeah. So you could navigate a question on that. Or from time to time, you will be contrasting in softer ways what you've known about other companies' culture and what you know, and demonstrate your knowledge of their company culture. So know your current operation culture, basic company culture. Also, it's a good idea to know your current company's mission statement. And this is written in their About section on their website or their stockholder relations. So knowing their mission statement, again, is going to be a way of contrasting the new company's mission statement against the mission statement of your current company. And they might want to know that you know what the current company's mission statement is, because theoretically, your job as a professional employee is to use your talent, skills, and experience to further the goals of that company you're working for, all the while receiving compensation, of course, for your service. But really, you're there as a cog in the wheel that turns the machine that completes the mission, right? This is what they're looking for: good employees. Great aviators, yes. Good aviators, yes. Marginal aviators, yes. But bad employee, no. No level of professional aviator can overcome a bad employee. So the best employee understands the mission statement of that company, and they understand it well. So please know your current operation well and demonstrate that in the interview process. Another important thing, the company's safety operational policy. This is written in your flight operations manual, and it says something like, we at this airline strive to produce the safest and most efficient pilot through proper training, adequate experience, mentorship, putting safety over efficiency, efficiency over customer service, but blah, blah, blah. And that is basically the mission statement of the flight department. So look for that in your book and know what basically that says, and you reflect that in some of the answers that you're giving during an interview. Okay, here's some other things you need to know, just general. You need to know the company you're working for, CRM policy, crew resource management policy, or techniques in a general outline, because all airlines strive to have strong crew resource management processes that their crew members can employ to be more safe and efficient. So please know a very good outline of your CRM. Also, the threat and error management system, if your company has one where you're flying, be able to describe that, because there might be scenarios that they say, tell me about a time you made a bad decision, right? And then you can draw upon the threat and error management model and talk intellectually about what you did wrong, how the threat and error management corrected you, got you back on track, and how you made other good decisions to remedy the bad decision you had made. Okay, so speaking about CRM, threat and error management, is a foundation of aeronautical knowledge that you should know, yeah? And you want to demonstrate that you know those things, because that is a skill set of a pilot, is knowing threat and error management, CRM, right? Also, their safety management system. This is a little more vague, but most airlines are required to have what they call a safety management system. And it's basically internal company monitoring of events that occur and having it being reported back to a department, and that department finding if there's ways to mitigate those risks. So the important part is your company does have a safety management system. Read and get to know what they mean by that, and understand one thing that's very important. The feedback loop is super important. So the frontline workers, that is the actual pilots that are flying the airplanes, are required and requested to report to the safety management department if they see any policies that are not safe, any practices that need improvement, or any suggestions by them that they can be a more safe and more efficient and deliver higher levels of customer service. So that feedback loop is important, and many questions are going to be answered telling them about your feedback loop and how you came right back around and delivered cures or improvements to your company through the proper chain of command, okay? That leads me to the last thing, and that is reporting practices. Pilots are required to self-report. So if you are asked any scenario like, have you ever violated an FAR? Have you ever broken an SOP? You need to be able to demonstrate at the end of that question, the end of your answer rather, sorry, that you self-reported in order to allow everyone to understand the mistake that occurred, and a process could be in place to prevent it in the future and improve safety overall. So know when you're required to make a report, okay? That's it for today. I am the AirJob Boss. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one.